We are not going to accept a contract that allows companies to abuse artificial intelligence against our members.
This has already been too much.
When these companies take seriously the possibility of offering a contract with which our members can live and work, we will be here to sign. These were the words of Fran Drescher. Yes, Fran Drescher, the nanny from the series. And these are the words she communicated before today's new actors' strike in the entertainment industry in the United States began. What the heck does Fran Drescher, the nanny, have to do with Grand Theft Auto 6, with Spider-Man 3, with Call of Duty Black Ops 6, with Wolverine, and even with the series and movies we like the most and that are being developed right now? Well, it's a very crazy story that I'm going to tell you in detail next. Screen Actors Guild, American Federation of Television and Radio Artists, is the American union for actors and radio and television artists, a gringo union that represents approximately 160,000 actors, broadcasters, radio and television journalists, including dubbing actors and voice actors. And Fran Drescher, the nanny, is its president, that is, the president of the entire union. And this actress has been on a personal and professional crusade against the exploitation of workers, actors, actresses, broadcasters, and others for years now. And also against the use and abuse of artificial intelligence to replace actors, dubbers, and others. Artificial intelligence is a tool, one that if you use it for good, so to speak, well, you can save a lot of work time and even a lot of money. But just as you suddenly use artificial intelligence to save yourself some work to design a logo or an image or a profile picture, in the entertainment industry, they have been starting to think for a while how to use this tool to save a few jobs. Human and then displace several workers from their positions. And what specifically happens is that work clauses began to appear that start to include artificial intelligence in the different contracts of actors and actresses in the United States. It seems that in the United States, the Actors Union, the one I mentioned, and the most important in the United States were closing a new employment contract, but something went wrong. One of the 25 clauses of the agreement caused a lot of upset among the actors, and it seems to be that this clause was directly linked to artificial intelligence in the actors' own voices within the framework of video games. The entire Actors Union, 98% of the 160,000 members there are, voted in favor of a strike. And one of the main objectives of this strike, of this stoppage, is to directly affect and influence the production of video games and interactive entertainment. Because it seems to be here where the actors are not satisfied with how they are being treated and how the issue of artificial intelligence is being handled. The video game industry generates billions of dollars in profits annually. The driving force behind this success are the creative people who design and create video games. That includes Screen Actors Guild, American Federation of Television and Radio Artists members who bring to life the characters of memorable and beloved games. Said the executive director and chief negotiator of the Actors Union, that is, the person in charge of negotiating agreements with companies. Our determination is unshakable and should not be tested. Our members voted over 98% in favor of authorizing a strike on this contract if employers do not come to the table with an agreement that includes our critical provisions regarding artificial intelligence. This man, the union's chief contract negotiator who negotiates agreements and contracts with major entertainment companies, had already warned us earlier this year that there could be a strike if issues of artificial intelligence were not addressed more in depth and if the actors were not directly protected. We are going to briefly change focus to comment on a news story that is very related to all of this. And it is the news of Activision and artificial intelligence, a very controversial news story in the last few hours. As I was saying, artificial intelligence is a tool, an app that exists to help us, or supposedly that's what we believe, and above all to help those of us who are neither designers, nor illustrators, nor anything like that, but we need to do something, right? And, well, it allows us to develop some interesting little things and so on. But when you combine this tool with the possibilities it gives you and the greed of companies that greedily create content, it turns out to be a complete disaster. Activision is using artificial intelligence to generate skins within Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 3, and within Warzone, and not only that, former Activision employees report that the company's own executives encourage the quote-unquote designers to use artificial intelligence to speed up processes. Are they aiming to expedite processes with AI after laying off 1,900 people at the beginning of this year? Microsoft's actions seem contradictory. The biggest companies in the video game world, like Activision or Take-Two itself, a company which owns Rockstar, or like Ubisoft, another one of the biggest in the world, among so many other companies, are approving the use of generative artificial intelligence to make video games faster, to put it kindly. I bring up this note about Activision using artificial intelligence to make Call of Duty skins because this is exactly what the actors in their union want to avoid with this strike. They want to avoid what is happening to graphic designers, illustrators, creatives, and others, and everything that is happening with generative artificial intelligence. These actors want to make it very clear what companies intend to do with artificial intelligence, and that these processes do not displace acting workers, dubbers, actors, interpreters, and others, whether from motion captures, voices, etc. And it seems that the whole center of this issue is mainly focused on the actors who give voices to characters in interactive entertainment. That is video games, parenthesis, to clarify some things, and that, let's follow the thread of everything that's happening. It seems that what is not clear, I say it seems because I did not read the contract that the actors and their union are discussing with the companies, because I could not access that contract, at least at the time I am recording this video. It seems that the problem is in the voices, in the technology that exists today to replicate a person's voice. Because look, imagine this, tomorrow a new Spider-Man game comes out and they no longer hire the guy who voiced Spider-Man because they don't need him anymore. They simply paid him for his voice rights once, and then with artificial intelligence, they replicate his voice several times and create content. If this were to happen in this way, then there would be less and less work for the actors who dub or voice video games and the like. And it's understood, at least it's what I understand by analyzing this situation, that the issue is more or less along those lines. That the actors are asking to strictly know where the limit of artificial intelligence is and where the limit of the actor's work is. And they don't want one to be put over the other. The issue with motion capture, the issue with the acting itself, putting a face on it and so on, surely it's also related. But perhaps in those aspects, the use of artificial intelligence is less serious because it's not so simple to replicate a whole human, at least for now. Well, maybe we believe it's not so simple. And behind closed doors, they do it perfectly. This actors union that is going on strike operates only in the United States, and the companies that are going to be affected are in the United States, obviously. And the list you're going to see next are the 10 main companies that are going to be very affected by this strike. We have Activision, obviously we have Disney, we have Electronic Arts, we have Epic Games, we have Formosa Interactive, which I just found out is one of the main monsters of video game dubbing. They are the ones who supported the dubbing of The Last of Us, Uncharted, Horizon Forbidden West, and others. We have Insomniac Games, Take-Two, the owners of Rockstar, and we have Warner Brothers. Games. The strike just started today at 00 of today, so everything is too fresh. We don't know if 100% of this list I was showing you was going to be affected. Or there will be workers who decide to continue working beyond the union, or everyone will comply with the stoppage, because you know how this is, right? Well, there are always exceptions. Maybe there are companies that reach agreements and so on. Well, all of that is very fresh now. The last strike that there was of actors happened last year. Well, of actors, script writers, and so on. And it was also organized by the Screen Actors Guild, American Federation of Television and Radio Artists Union in the United States. The strike began on the 14th of July and it ended on the 27th of October, 30th of October, more or less. Last year, it lasted more than 100 days. During all that strike, many projects were delayed, like the series of The Last of Us, like the Stranger Things season. Like the Mandalorian series, even the Wolverine and Deadpool movie was affected by that stoppage. And we know that the production of titles like Spider-Man 2 also was affected during last year by the actors and scriptwriters' strike. And now we are facing a very similar situation. Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out next year. And whether it gets delayed or not will depend on how long the actors' strike lasts. That has just started because the strike can last 2 weeks, 3, or it can last almost 4 months. Like the last time, the issue here is that dubbing a character, giving voice to a video game character, is one of the last stages in the productive process of creating a video game. Because to give it a voice, the video game already has to be developed and already has to be quite assembled, and it is understood that the video games that are going to be most affected are all those that are already in the final stages of the production process. And obviously those that are American developments, because this goes directly through the United States. You know that each country has different legislation, different ways of handling things and so on. This passes straight through the US. Grand Theft Auto VI, the next Spider-Man, the Wolverine game, well, maybe that one might not be on the list. The next Call of Duty, Black Ops 6, and all American development titles that are in the last period, in the last year of their development that you can think of, are going to be affected by this strike, and above all, they are going to be greatly affected by this strike if this strike extends over time. This just happened, as I already told you at the beginning of the video, so we still need to know many things. There are even great chances that while we are recording and editing this video, something may have changed. If something changed, if the information was updated, if something relevant happened, I will be putting it in the first comment to kind of follow the thread of this news. Anyway, what is happening is very important because it affects everything we do, see, and consume, which are video games, series, television, movies, entertainment, and everything else. Even software is being talked about. Remember what happened recently with Scarlett Johansson's voice? And well, artificial intelligence and all this? Well, it's another topic. Matter, everything is very fresh, and what these actors are asking for is that limits be set. That everything is clear to what extent when an actor signs a contract to voice a character, that actor owns his voice and not the company for which he is recording. There was a joke in The Simpsons that I looked for. I googled it. I didn't find it. Let's see if the editor finds it later. I think it's when Homer meets the one who voiced the Roadrunner, and Homer says, "Ah, you're the beep beep of the Roadrunner." And she says, "No, just the beep. They recorded me once and then they repeated it." Well, this is more or less the same. It goes there, at least from what this union wants to protect. Finally, don't think that this is only going to affect American developments. Keep in mind that many Japanese developments go through the United States when it comes to dubbing or localization and so on, because the United States is a very important market. And it may also affect the release of Japanese games or games from other regions. Not so much in Europe, because in Europe they can dub and quietly localize games in English. Indeed, last year's strike impacted Final Fantasy XVI. It somewhat disrupted their game localization process. Just an additional fact for you to remember, crazy times. Suddenly we were calm and everything went chaotic. But well, we also have a topic to talk about. I'm going to follow this topic very closely because it's a very interesting topic, so I'm going to keep updating. Subscribe to the channel, activate the bell, which is super important. Stay tuned for our upcoming videos as I'll closely cover this topic. Here are 2 compilations of news and current events you'll find interesting. Meanwhile, feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. Is Grand Theft Auto V postponed? Bet placed. See you.